Everywhere we go,
What's good? What's good? It's your boy DJ Avo, and this is the Dynasty Bro Fantasy Football Podcast, episode 98. Let's go. We almost there. We almost there, man. If you missed the verses, you missed you something else. What's good? What's good?
I'm turning Avo down. He peeking right here on my mixer. What's good, Brodies and Babes? This is the Dynasty Bros Fantasy Football Podcast, episode 98. Vic, we 2 away from 100. I wanted to say that. Hey, this is where you come for your fantasy football needs and then chop it up about the latest NFL news. I am Dynasty Bro Dot here with my co-bro.
You got Dynasty Bro Vic, man. Hey, like you said, 2 away from the hundo. I'm excited, man.
I know, man. It's just crazy. And today we got a guest, man. You know, we are approaching the season, so I know you like our insight, but we always like to tap into the culture and tap into fantasy football geniuses. So we got a fire-ass guest on, the homeboy Gabe, a.k.a. FF Man Bun. You can't really see the man bun on camera from this angle, man.
Nasty. Oh, man, I got to work on that. I should really have a different angle so to protect the brand.
Yeah. Right. or do one of these every once in a while.
Let them know. Yeah, let them know.
All right, man. You know, we've been breaking down these divisions lately. So, you know, we back. We got the AFC and NFC West. Feel me? That's what we're going to do this week. So I'm excited about that. We're going to get to it. And, you know, when we have our guests, we always do our resume. So, Gabe, I know Vic said he gave you a heads up if you ain't know. So in a minute, what we're going to do is we're going to ask you about your real life and your fantasy football resume. So I hope you got some ideas and be ready to tell everybody, because we done had some real good ones. And we done had some that basically ain't nothing like mine, because I wasn't that good at football, basically. So get ready for that. That's the first thing we're going to get into. But we do got some flags on the plays, some injuries. We're going to get into the What's the Word and the Hood TMZ with Dynasty Bro Vic. So y'all ready to get that kicked off?
We ready, man. Let's get it.
All right. So look, Gabe, resume, baby. We're going to start with the real life football resume, man. So did you get into any real life football as a kid? If you did, when did you start?
I did play in middle school, just middle school, and middle school was 6 through 8, and so 7th and 8th graders could play. I played running back and safety, but I wasn't super big, dude. I was like 4'10", you know. I don't even know the weight, but certainly not able to be any sort of ground and pound, you know. Bigger dudes were doing that, but what they would use me for, our mascot was the Cougars. All right, so they'd run the Cougar special. Okay, so the running back does a wheel route. The wide receiver on the right side just runs a streak, and then a tight end on the other side just runs basically a flat and just yells like ball, 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 ball. It's like the stupidest play ever. It's horrible, but they would dish me on the wheel route, and I was pretty quick for you know, middle school relative to the other kids at that point. And shout out to QB Buddy. He would dish me up perfectly every time. I'd run for the touchdown. Easy peas. So I mean, that was basically the highlight. And then I went to high school, transitioned to golf, and then I just, you know, worked from behind the scenes doing fantasy. So Cougar special.
I ain't mad at that, man. I am Cougar special. We was the Wildcats in high school, at least LN. I don't know what Vic was. Vic, what was y'all? Did y'all have a mascot?
Come on, bro. I know I went to a public school, but it wasn't that bad. Shout out to the Golden Knights, man. Washington Golden Knights.
It's the mad, bro. Don't come at the east side like that, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's serious. I'm not trying to be funny.
Come on now, dog.
All right, so that's fire. He played both sides of the ball. Gabe, I didn't really do anything. I really only played football because all my friends played. Vic, my friend Ivo, just everybody played football. So I just wanted to be in the mix. So I played a bunch of positions that never mattered for me. So, but I did play middle school and high school. So, but that's that, man. So it's the real life football resume. I'm pretty sure fantasy football resume is way more interesting. So tell me when you started to get into fantasy.
Man, I don't know. The Cougar special is pretty dope. But I got in pretty late into fantasy. It wasn't until I was in college, like 2010, maybe 11, and just joined a friends league of sort. It was probably standard, but I went to the championship game with my buddy. He's a Packers fan, and of course he had Aaron Rodgers. But it was the year that I'm sure a lot of y'all remember that year that Matt Flynn had the 6-touchdown game in the last week of the season. It was that season where he picked Flynn up off waivers and beat me in the championship with Flynn. I had no shot. I was hyped that Aaron Rodgers was done, but then no shot against Flynn. And then just kind of continued to gain interest in redraft, and then just kind of transitioned to PPR, and then eventually hopped on Twitter and jumped into Dynasty, and I don't know, 5 years ago or so, and joined some pods, some serious, some not so. Vic, you know what's good with that.
Hey, I had a good time. I had a good time on the open bar.
Yep. And now I just write fantasy football intros, I think, at this point. But I'm still working, and I'm doing leagues and talking football nonsense with y'all. So, yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
Not gonna lie, man. Losing like that would have made me be skeptical of fantasy football. I think the first year Avo ever played, he won in our redraft league with the friends, and he don't even care about football. That's a bad way to go out.
That's what happens. That's how it happens.
That's some BS.
And y'all know I'm about to win this year.
He won't win again, bro.
I'm about to win this year, bro. I got like the same team, man. I got Tebow again, bro.
Whatever. All right, so give me this right now. Who's your favorite guy that you have on majority of your teams now that you've been established? You've been playing Dynasty for a while. I know you have some rosters you like. Is there a guy that you have like almost consistently everywhere? Like you've been on him since he came out. You draft him. You ain't getting rid of him. Do you got a guy?
Dynasty, I'd probably have to ride with Mike Evans. Just the pure disrespect he seems to get year after year. I mean, we joke on the open bar and we say, what does he have to do? Just year after year, 1,000-yard seasons. Now he's with the GOAT. Arguably, he's certainly fighting for targets a little bit more these days. But I mean, he just continues to produce and it's weird because it's almost, you always see the analytics and the film people kind of fight, but it's almost like they agree on Mike Evans because the analytics kind of hated him coming out, even when he produced year 1 and 2, still hated him on that hype, and then the film wasn't always great either because the separation was good enough, but I don't think it impressed him to a level to where he would be relevant still today, I suppose. But he's got the jump balls, he's got the touchdowns, He's still here, so shut up, haters.
He's a man out there on the field, man. You can't do nothing with him. He's built to play this, man.
Facts.
I hope Vic get his Mike Evans on while we're at the Fantasy Expo. Vic, Mike Evans built, mate. You close, bro.
Like, come on, man.
I'm rooting for you, brother.
That's a lot of pressure, man. Hey, I'm planning on doing damage from the slot, man. Actually, I'm gonna be moving around outside, inside, in the slot. So yeah, man. We'll see what's up.
Don't forget the ball when you're going across the field.
I got you.
Works every time.
If I was able to play, I would bring up the Cougar special. Me and Vic would be out there running the Cougar. But I can't play this year. Next year, Vic. All right, that's pretty fine. To Mike Evans, you figured would be on him after he got to that bar fight and beat up like 5 bouncers. I think it was like his 3rd or 4th year in the league.
Thanks.
But that was a pretty good video. But man, that's a very fire resume. Did you win any championships last year? Before we move on, because all you need is one.
I know. I think I did. I won one. One was kind of a weird one where you win it was like your record in the regular season was kind of if you won first place, and I that's what I won. But it was a tough year, man. It was probably my worst year for championships. Made like enough playoffs, but just couldn't quite get over that hump to the chipper. I just had the chips. I didn't have the chips with the dip. You see, you need the chips with the dip.
Man, we talk about that a lot, man. We just talk about how, you know, as long as you win one, that's a good investment. Because you need some luck on your side. It's, you know, it was an awkward year with COVID. So as long as you walk away with one championship, at least you didn't walk away empty for that whole year.
How many leagues?
It don't matter. I could be in 15.
No, I was just asking how many leagues is he in. I didn't know if he had already said that.
Hey, how many leagues you in right now?
I am in. I think I literally just added. I said yes like minutes before I came on to a redraft league for a buddy, but I think that puts me into double digits. Then I think I'm at 10. Yeah, and it's probably about half and half between Dynasty and redraft.
Man, I thought Gabe was gonna say some crazy number, like I think it's 33, something crazy, but this man's like 10. Okay,
nah, bro. I've gotten it up to like 20, I think, one year, and it's just the lineups and the waivers is the worst. I just couldn't do it. And I was in everything between auctions and the IDP and redraft dynasty. I think I even like did a Devi. It was just like I was fully immersed, and then I realized I was too much sauce. So
got you.
Scale it back. Gotta scale it back.
Think how many leagues you in again?
Like 25, but to your point, man, yeah, the waivers.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie, I miss out on a lot of waivers, but it's all good. I try to build a fire team to where, you know, unless it's an pending injury, I should be good. But yeah, man, I'm with you though. Like I'm learning my limits, so I would say my limit's probably like around the 15 to 20. But I'm definitely gonna, you know, ride out the leagues I'm in. So.
Dang. All right, so look, we're going to move off the football resume, and we're going to move into the hood TMZ with Dynasty Bro Vic. But before we do that, let's do this one time. Gabe, tell the people where they can follow you at on the social medias.
Well, today I am FF Bro Bun because I'm chilling with the Dynasty Bros. But, you know, most days it's going to be FF Man Bun. All right, I give him the flick. All right, there you go, Vic.
There you go. I see it. I saw some wind back there. I saw it cut some wind. Doing the open bar with it's been a minute since J Mike and I have done the open bar since like this is my literal first podcast back since we took a little hiatus of sorts in June, but we'll be back probably next week. So open bar Tuesdays 9:30 Eastern ish, heavy on the ish. Yeah, that's how we roll too, man. I like it.
It's ish. Big B like, hey, bro, we're going to roll at 7:30. Avo might still be spinning. We lose track of the time. It just should be real. Hey, Vic, where can we follow you at too, bro?
Yeah, man, you guys can follow me at ChiefsHostFF, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. If you want that Warzone work and Madden 22 work that's coming out, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, DynastyBrosFF, wherever you listen.
Avo, where can we follow you at, my brother?
You can follow me on the gram at Avo Love, LXVE, AVO LXVE. And then if you happen to hop on the Twitter, you can follow me at Dynasty Bro Avo. And if you're on Twitch, you can follow me at Dynasty Bro Avo. Catch some of these live mixes, and you got to follow the Dynasty Bro Fantasy Football page, because that's where I be mixing every Tuesday, just in case you ain't know. Hey, yo, Dot, what can we follow you at, brother?
Follow me at DynastyBro Dot on Instagram and Twitter, and follow the main Instagram page, DynastyBrosFF. All right, let's get into what's the word in the hood, TMZ, with Dynasty Bro Vic. I know the intro was very long-winded, but, you know, I love the conversation we have with guests, man. That's fire. So, Vic, you ready for this?
I'm ready, bro. Let's get into it, man. So shout out to Bleacher Report Gridiron. I don't know if you guys know, but of course the Hall of Fame ceremonies went down. The inductees, they gave their speeches, and Tom Brady, man, he showed up for Peyton, and he basically said, I just need to make sure he's really done. Can't risk this guy coming back. So that made me think about the meme that flies around on Facebook where the guy showed up to one of his haters' funeral just to make sure the guy was really gone. I'm sure it was more love than that, you know, between Brady and Manning, but, you know, it was cool to see Brady pull up for Manning's big moment.
True that. Brady looked like he having fun, man.
Yeah.
Brady looked like he enjoying the shit out of life right now, and then just still dominating at his age. So shout out to him, man.
What you expect from the GOAT?
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
All right, man. Hey, make sure you guys check out, you know, those speeches, man. I definitely got to see Peyton's speech and Edger and James, so I definitely enjoyed that, especially being a Colts fan. Hey, Gabe, who's your squad? We didn't even get to ask.
Well, I guess the Jaguars is the squad of sorts. Yeah. Completely random.
Man.
It sounds forced,
I
man.
mean, I know. Well, it's when I think fantasy like took me away from fandom. I just started enjoying the players a whole lot more, and it's super easy when the team is trash. So I root for him, and I love to see him come back and turn things around. What we'll see with I think this is like probably one of the biggest years of something potentially coming around for them. So excited to watch that, but I'm just kind of sitting on the sideline. I root for the players.
Got you. Yeah, my brother Dot's in the same boat, but we do got love for the Colts. So
yeah.
All right, man. Bringing it back to what's the word. Shout out again to Bleacher Report Gridiron. So as far as the Hall of Fame committee to make a decision on Peyton Manning, it was a 13-second conversation. So you heard that right. I mean, that's probably about as long of a cadence, that it takes Peyton to get a playoff. So that sounds about right with the 13 seconds. So, yeah, man, it's a no-brainer, man, with Peyton Manning going to the Hall. So shout out to him. That might be a record.
They should have that as a statistics of how long did it take to get into the Hall of Fame.
You know who
man.
13 seconds?
Brady.
Yeah, good call. Brady.
He's coming for that. He's coming for the 13. He'll do it in 12 typically.
I can see that too, man. TV 12, give it to him.
He would.
All right, a couple more things, man. So, of course, man, I got to keep it with the Colts, man. So, our guy, Adrian James, went in. He started with the gold teeth, ended with the gold jacket. Dot, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I got my gold teeth. Shouting, we repping Adrian James right now with the gold teeth. I can barely talk with mine.
That's South Miami, Florida.
Dang, bro.
No, but we're going to let you ride. Oh, we're going to let you ride.
Yeah, bro.
Come on, we gotta let it ride through the schools, man.
I can't, man. I tried, bro. It's been a while. I'm rusty.
Already?
I'm rusty with the golds.
I'm a hope.
You're hopefully
Adrian,
not the gold. Hopefully that's not rusty.
Hey, the gold ain't rusty. This real gold ain't rusty. Hey, I know you see the shine.
I see it. Hey, I got it. I was short notice for the gold teeth. All right, so I couldn't get that together, naturally. But I tell you what, I just realized this for dinner tonight. Made some enchiladas. Nah, edgeladas.
There you go.
Edgeladas. Come on.
Hey, we'll take it. That's fine. Hey, I'm sure we just caught a gift moment there too, man. So we're gonna clip that out. And Gabe, we'll bring you back, man. Get you some gold. Just go to the mall. They'll turn them around in 24 hours for you. Just make sure they're not fake.
That's all it takes. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Cool. A couple more things.
WashingtonSquare.com.
Yeah, man. Washington Square.
WashingtonSquare.com.
All right, a couple more things, then we out of here, man. So we get to the AFC, NFC West. So shout out to the score. I don't know if you guys saw, but Michael Thomas put up a cryptic message on his tweet. So basically, the Saints are reporting that he's ignored their calls for months after the 2020 season. So basically, Michael Thomas is saying, hey, they're trying to put dirt on my name. So yeah, man, what are you guys' thoughts on Michael Thomas? I mean, he asked for the money, he got the payday. Of course, he's battling the injuries, but that relationship just seems sour, man. So what are you guys' thoughts on Michael Thomas? Is his days numbering down in New Orleans?
Gabe, you first.
I think I saw the tweets that he liked, and the one tweet that he liked about being injured, and then the Saints asking him to push it for Drew Brees' sake to get that last Super Bowl. I think that entirely rings true. We don't know so much of what goes on behind the scenes, particularly with injuries, and that they're never 100%. LeBron was talking this last season of like, I don't think I'll ever get back to 100% with my ankle. And then people started tripping but what it really means is just that you literally are never going to be 100% the moment that you step on the field. So I feel like he's just been disrespected in that organization a little bit. And I think he is a bit of a drama queen of sorts, more than other wide receivers. That's certainly fair, but a little bit of both, I think, with that. So,
yeah.
I agree, man. Diva wide receiver dealing with an organization that seems like they don't mind playing on this name and character. Usually that's not a good thing, man. So I don't know if they're going to be able to figure that out, man. So we'll see what happens going forward.
He's dropping deep into those best ball drafts too. I mean, in regard to his current injury, but also just his relationship with the team. I think people are really scared. He's dropping like 8th, 9th round beyond that. So that's crazy.
Yeah, man. All right, man. That's all I got for what's the word. But anything else you guys want to add before we get into the injuries?
Nah, man, I'm good.
All right, man. Well, go ahead.
I got some random. All right, so did y'all hear the quarterback said he could throw a football like 150 yards, the backup QB?
Which QB?
Is he talking Jacob Eason?
Jacob Eason said he could throw a football 100 yards.
That's cool.
I just want to throw that out there. I just had to know. Oh, the backup QB. Our backup QB can throw 100 yards, bro. Come on, man.
I don't know, man. I'm
Gotta
not
be
really.
right?
I'm not an Easton truther, man. So yeah.
Ellinger.
That's what's up, though. All right.
Who's going to go for 80 yards?
Yeah.
Touche.
All right, man. Let's get to some of these injuries. So, of course, you got camp going on. And I don't know if you guys saw, but Justin Jefferson went down, landed on his shoulder. He should be fine, but, it's just, Twitter's popping. So, you get to see all the happenings, what's going on in and out of camp. But fortunately, he landed on his shoulder. It did look like a hard land on his shoulder. So hopefully, he recovers well from that, bounce back. And then also looks like Rashad Bateman. He had a issue today. I believe with the knee. So they're definitely monitoring that. Of course, we got Amari Cooper coming back. So there's some good reports there. I know there's some more injuries that I'm missing, man. Any other injuries?
Hunter Henry was kind of announced for a few week absence. So that one's tough. Jonnu Smith season, I suppose.
Yeah.
Man. Are we excited about that? We don't got to talk about it.
They paid him. We'll get to it next week then, right?
Yeah.
I just hope everyone's ready for week one. They got Shark too. Talking about Jaguars, I guess. I'm responsible for them apparently, but Shark should be ready for week one with the finger. So it seems like everyone should be ready by week one at this point. So as far as injuries go, like you injured yourself at the perfect time, NFL athletes.
Yeah,
Saquon's
you're right.
Activated off the foot. He's
doing drills. Yeah. Cool. All right, man. Let's get to the flag on the plays. I got a flag, but do anybody else got a flag before we get into that?
Nah, get into your flag, bro.
I got a quick flag.
Just
real quick.
What's the flag?
Anybody that thought the U.S. wasn't going to win the Olympics in basketball, anybody that thought we wasn't going to win, you catch this flag.
It was close.
We not going to win because you tripped. Close as in what?
I think it was like a 5-point game, right? 5 or 7 point game. It was close.
Don't call that close. That's my flag. My flag right there.
I was sweating a little bit in group play. I'll say that.
Yeah.
You know Americans can be lazy. They wasn't playing hard. That's the problem.
All right, how about you, Gabe? You got a flag?
I mean, just circling back right there with the injuries about Saquon. I mean, people thought that he wasn't going to start the season and stay on the pup, and he came right off just like they said he would, and like he said he would. So take that flag.
Flag to the haters, man.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your lane. All right, what about you, Dot?
Nah, I ain't got no flag. I did.
I got a flag.
All right.
My bad. Nah. Get your flag out, man.
Nah, man, it ain't even that good of a flag, man. So I'm straight.
I just want to hear the pettiness, man. Come on.
It ain't that good of a flag. I promise it ain't. But you want me to, for real?
Yeah, bro.
All
right. So it's really a hater comment, but we're gonna let it ride. When I was looking at all the Hall of Fame stuff, man, I know the only reason I recognize Tom Brady being there. Now you go cut the music while I make a hater comment. Hey, Tom Brady looks like he living his best life because he don't give a shit about his hairstyles no more, man. Knowing he gonna be on national TV, his hair looked all over the place. He looked trash. I was like, damn, that's our GOAT right there, looking like he just chugged a 12 case of beer. He looks so happy, hair all over the place. Flag to my guy hairstylist, man. You think Tom Brady got a hairstylist?
I don't know, bro, but he might have been hungover. I know Manning had that party the night before, so or might well, actually I don't know when the party went down, but let's just chuck it up to the party, the weekend events.
All right, that's what we're gonna do.
Come on now, dog.
But
come on, man.
Yeah, man, my flag, man. I actually struggle with who to give it to, but I'm actually gonna narrow it down to the Saints fans. So if you're a Saints fans, I got to give you a flag if you're not keeping the same energy for kicker Will Lutz. So pretty much, he just announced that after seeking a second opinion, he's gonna go ahead and get surgery. So he has a core injury he's dealing with, and that's gonna require him to miss like 8 weeks. So to me, it's similar to the Michael Thomas situation. It's just how he's going about it. So he's not as loud, and when you keep things under wraps and be a great organization guy, maybe you can let some stuff slide underneath the rug. So that's my flag. Saints fans, keep the same energy for your kicker.
And he's not as important too, bro. So he's
I
not
think
as
so.
important.
I think Will Lutz is important. Special teams puts up points. That's a blow for them. Their kicker put up points, man.
The kicker hate that.
Oh man, don't do me like that. Oh nah, just Michael Thomas was like one of the most talented receivers in the league. So I'm just looking at the importance of what a team would want. A number one receiver in the league, or a kicker. Hey man, look, I'm gonna shut up because I don't want kickers to hate me on Twitter.
Come on, man.
Be cool for Pat McAfee come after us, bro. Be cool.
Coming for your neck, bro.
Y'all ready, man? Let's jump into this AFC and NFC West stuff, man. So again, we got to run through the AFC and NFC West. Let's talk about who's relevant, who's not relevant, who do we like, all that good stuff. Let's answer some big questions. And of course, with the studs, we're not gonna spend too much time on the studs. That's obvious, right? So let's go ahead and start with the AFC West. Let's go to Kansas City. Let's start with the QB, Patrick Mahomes. We already know he's a stud. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time there. But again, he has put up over 4,500 yards. He's shown he can put up 5,000 yards. So my question for you guys is he still the Dynasty one? Is he the overall QB one in Dynasty as far as are you taking him first from a QB perspective?
All day.
Without
thinking about it.
Gotta be.
For about 15 more years, too. Is Andy Reid?
You got a half a billion to spend, all right?
I'm with it. So the contract, the talent, anything else you guys want to add as far as why you guys think he's, the overall number one QB in Dynasty?
I mean, you said it right there about the ability to just consistently throw for 4,500 yards. Those numbers are just stupid. I mean, he could easily go to 50 passing touchdowns again too. And then the conversation, even in redraft, is like, how early could you take him there? Could you even take him in the first or second round? Because I mean, that type of QB play, that eliteness there, that's different. So QB1,
and he has arguably the number one receiver in the league, and he has the number one tight end ever. So it's just, I don't know, the talent around him, the system around him, it's just, he's going to flourish no matter what.
Yeah, I actually agree with you guys. And actually, I actually had to think about it too a little bit, meaning like, even though he is the number one QB, am I okay with going with someone else? But I thought about it again. Like you said, he has number one tight end and Travis Kelce. He has a top 5 receiver and Tyreek, who could finish number 1 or even top 3. So just given that, the weapons around him and his skill set, it's a no-brainer. So with that, man, let's move into the running back room, man. Let's talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, of course, a lot of hype around him coming out of LSU last year, being supposedly handpicked by Patrick Mahomes, as far as like, hey, we need that guy. That's what we want. So just giving that, a lot of hype. But, of course, he finished with an RB2 season. Do you guys expect Clyde to take that leap? Do you guys see him finishing as an RB1, or is he RB2 for you guys?
Staying in that RB2 purgatory for me. I'm seeing or I'm at least having some hopes in my deep dynasty squads of Jerick McKinnon being relevant again.
Okay.
and catching passes, even though I know CEH can do that too. Look, everything was there for him to succeed and be an RB1 in Kansas City last year, and it didn't happen. And sure, it's not fair to give up on him necessarily, but like I said, maybe just RB2 purgatory where you just kind of there. And I'd rather just wait for other running backs.
Yeah. What about you, Doc?
Yeah, the only thing that sucks about him is the system just doesn't call for a running back to dominate when you have a quarterback and receiving options like Kelsey and Hill. You know, they stumble into those red zone throws, and so like they never have a running back that's just dominating in the end zone, in the red zone, either goal line, none of that, because Patrick Mahomes make plays, so it's not needed to have a dominant running back. But if he stumbles into a few more touchdowns, he has top 12 upside, back in top 12 upside to me. So it's probably the best offense in the NFL. So no, he still has upside. I love it.
Yeah, man. For me, he's a high-end RB2. Low-end RB1, he could hit that, but for the most part, I got him as an RB2. Again, I mean, that offense wants to throw the ball. They run through Kelsey. They run through Tyreek. So just given that, they're not really trying to run the ball. So I do see a cap there, but still a talented running back tied to a great system. So I like it, man. So, yeah. All right, let's talk about some other guys in the running back room. Let's kind of group them together, and if anyone stands out for you, definitely plant your flag and talk your shit. Like Gabe started to talk about Jerick McKinnon. But how do you guys feel about Darrell Williams and Darwin Thompson and Jerick? I mean, are you checking for these guys? Are you stashing any of these guys?
I think it's fair to put McKinnon and Williams on the end of your rosters. Some people are hyping up Hardman still. I don't really see it. I think they're fine with the Kelsey and, Kels and Hill combo there, and then just kind of everyone else that Patrick dishes it to. So
yeah, I'm not that excited about the RB1, so I'm not really excited about the backups either, because if they step in, was that just another back end running back too, which isn't bad for your team, but it's nothing to get overly excited about.
Yeah, for me, I do like Darrell Williams as a depth play, so I like to get him on the bench. But again, not someone I'm looking to run, week to week. So I do think, from a depth backup, get Clyde's handcuffs, so to speak. I'm definitely grabbing some Darrell. I mean, the Chiefs have shown they do like keep multiple backs involved. So they will do that. So just given that, I don't mind that play, but I'm not checking for Darwin. I'm not really excited for Jerick McKinnon. So that's where I'm at. But all in all, we all know Clyde's the man in that backfield.
Facts.
All right, let's move on to the wide receiver room. So, of course, we all know Tyreek Hill's the man. We don't have to spend too much time there. We did our top 5 Dynasty wide receiver episode a while back. I'm getting a little echo. I'm not sure why. But are you guys hearing that? Okay. I'm not sure why. I'll try to lean back. Okay. But, yeah, man, so I had him as a top 5 Dynasty wide receiver. Now, we know Sammy Watkins left. McCole Hardman's, he's supposed to be the official number 2 wide receiver, but keep in mind with Sammy leaving, that's only 55 vacated targets. So is that really enough to propel McCole Hardman to really be the man? So, Gabe, man, what are your thoughts on McCole?
He has some interesting statistics that would make you think that his third year is going to be a breakout year. But like I said, I vacated targets fine, but as homie PA Howdy says, targets are earned. So sure, they're gone, but he's going to have to do something with those and be successful with them. And I'm not sure that I see that. So I'm and just the ADP anyway, and really all formats is just not really worth it for me.
Nah, and I agree all the way down with everybody. The Byron Pringles, I know that drafted a guy. I don't want anybody in the receiving core outside of Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. I don't care how much you guys hype up McCall. It's not worth having.
Come on,
I'm with you, man.
dog.
I agree. It's a trap if you ask me. So, all right, let's move into the tight end room. And I do want to call out, of course, we know wide receiver wise. I know I'm backtracking, but they got Antonio Callaway, who's been bouncing around the league. They got my guy Reese Fountain from the Colts, Byron Pringles, so all these pass catchers. But we all know the Chiefs like to feature the top 2. So getting to this tight end room, Travis Kelce, he's a stud, man. Like we already know what he does. You can almost book him for a tight end 1 finish. So Gabe, for you, question, man, is Travis Kelce the overall tight end dynasty? You know, the number one tight end in dynasty. I know you get the Kittle, even now the Darren Waller creeping into the argument, but who's your tight end one?
Yeah, I think Kelsey's the dude there still. And I mean, Pitts is the other dude I think that is worth talking about. Just the way that I know he hasn't played an NFL snap yet, and a lot of people hate on that kind of talk, but dude is going to be different, I think, and potentially going to be in that top 3 conversation pretty easily next year. And so I think Pitts he's sniffing Kelsey's heels.
What about you, Doc?
Yes, number one tight end with no debate right now. Number one tight end, Travis Kelce.
I agree, man. Like, you could look, next 3-4 years, he's probably gonna finish as number one. So it's like, what are we doing?
Number one.
What are we doing? How can anyone else be the number one? Let's talk about a guy who's been, at least flashing. Are you guys interested in Noah Gray? So another tight end on the roster. He's a rookie. Of course, Travis has been giving him praises, but are you guys stashing Noah Gray?
I mean, in the fact that they utilize the tight end so well, sure. But I mean, it's probably going to have to be a tight end premium league and run pretty deep.
Yeah. You interested in Noah Gray, Doc?
For how long I see Travis Kelce playing? Nah, Travis Kelce gonna play too long. I don't really care what Noah Gray doing.
I agree, bro. I can see Kelce definitely running through Noah Gray's rookie contract.
Facts.
Come on now, dog.
All right, man. Anything else before we move on to the Chargers?
Man.
Cornell Powell,
Nah,
stash him.
we can move on.
You stashing him?
Nah.
All right, man. Let's go to the Chargers, man. LA Chargers. Start with the QB, Justin Herbert, man, coming off an awesome, phenomenal rookie season. So, of course, he finished as the number 9 QB in PPR. He put up 4,000 yards as a rookie, man, and he had 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So that's not bad for a rookie, man. I'll take that. For the most part, he took care of the ball, especially, stepping in week 2, not knowing he's going to start, given the Tyrod situation, if you guys remember that. But he stepped in against a division rival, against the Chiefs, and, he had a nice showing, man. So fantasy Twitter exploded after watching that Herbert, performance. So how do you guys feel about Justin Herbert?
Solid. I mean, you got to respect what he did, and not much has really changed since, aside from getting Eckler back. That's huge. The O-line has improved, and that was kind of an issue going into last year. And so now that it's better, I mean, wheels up, really. And Keenan Allen's still, breaking people's ankles. So I think he'll be all right.
Facts. There's room for improvement, man. He's a stud. He has prototypical build. Firearm, man. I love him, and I love the organization he went to and the pieces they already have around him, man. Like Gabe said, getting Austin Eckler back, just a reliable guy out the backfield that is one of the best pass catchers. That's an easy resort, quick blanket to just be able to throw it to. So I love everything going forward with Justin Herbert.
Same, man. Let's get to the running back room. You guys already started to, peek your way in there. So let's talk about Austin Eckler. So, of course, he's 26 years old, coming off the injury. We know back in 2019, finished as the RB4. Do you guys see him returning to that fashion? Can he have a top 5 finish in PPR? Let's frame it from that perspective.
I think so. I think he's just going to have to stay healthy. I'm curious what kind of balance that he has with Kelly and Jackson still there. I feel like they are going to kind of realize that there might be a team that could compete actually in the AFC now, and particularly even in the division, and they might take a bit of the load off. So in that regard, I'm a little concerned, but I also think that he is so efficient with the touches that he gets that it's still possible for him to have a top 5 season for sure.
And 100 catches is realistic if he plays 17 games. So I love Austin Eckler and what he brings to that offense, man. So shout out to him. He's a baller.
All right, quick question from a RB1 perspective. Building out your dynasty startup lineup, are you comfortable taking Austin Eckler as your RB1?
In dynasty?
Yeah, at this point in his career.
I don't think so. Not for me.
Okay. What about you, Dot?
Not in dynasty, man. If you told me we're in a full point PPR redraft, I wouldn't mind having him. But just the uncertainty of a guy that I like his role and what he does, but I know he's a great pass catcher, but I feel like if next year they want to bring in a guy that's a real 3-down back, it's not unrealistic for that to happen too. So just nervous about the style of play that he does as a running back, but I still like him, man. And he basically has his role on that team. So at least for this year, I like it.
Yeah, for me, if I'm in a Dynasty sign-up, if he falls to my second QB or running back slot, I'll take him. Of course, we all know he's a PPR monster, does most of his damage in the passing game. As far as him being 26 years old, I see the Chargers, as he gets to his 30s, transition to the slot as a receiver, which he already does now. So yeah, running back turned wide receiver. I definitely see him still having a role going forward, even as he continues to age. So let's just see how it plays out going forward. But I'm not mad at it, but I would say definitely temper your, expectations. So, all right, let's get into the running back room some more. Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly. Do you guys like either one of those guys? Are you stashing these guys? So let me start with you on that one, Dot. I know you like some Justin Jackson. Are you still rocking with him?
I used to like Justin Jackson, man. That's one of those guys that he start to get a little opportunity, he'll lose it, whether it be through injury. I'm just like, dude, you're losing, you're flashing. They starting to say you're the best in camp, and he'll go down and then just lose the spot and lose his momentum. I don't want anything outside of Austin Eckler, to be honest. And I think they bring these guys in that could try to be support backs, but I don't think they have anything that can have a 3-down role or really take the realm from Austin Eckler. Or if they move on from Eckler, I guarantee that those guys in the back are not going to be the guys they keep. So I don't want anything for sure in that backfield, unless it's just insurance. But I wouldn't even tell you who to go with insurance, to be honest.
Gotcha. What about you, Gabe? Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not touching either, even in not even in really like a 0 RB type of lineup like that. That's how far down they are and off of the board they would be. It's tough to say who's going to get those extra touches, and if whatever they are, they're probably goal line carries. Austin Eckler is going to be in a hurry up, whether they're down or up. So, I mean, I feel like he's going to kind of get the majority of the touches there.
Okay. I'm still stashing Joshua Kelly just off the upside. I feel like just the age, and he flashed a little bit at the beginning of the year. I think that gives him the edge over Justin Jackson. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they want to, put the ball in Austin Eckler's hands. But so for me, Joshua Kelly's a stash. I'm moving on from Justin Jackson. Let's get into this wide receiver room. Let's talk about Keenan Allen. Go ahead. You got a question? My bad. Okay. I thought I heard something. My bad. But Keenan Allen, man, let's get into the wide receiver room. Finished as a wide receiver 1 in 3 of the past 4 seasons. We all know he gets it done with his route running. It's very polished. You can book him for 100 catches. He's going to see over 140 targets. So how do we feel about Keenan Allen in Dynasty as far as being a 29-year-old wide receiver? How long do you see him maintaining this 100-catch seasons?
Stud, love him. He's tied to one of the most uprising quarterbacks that we have in the league, and the organization loves him. And he doesn't always win off just speed. So, like, what he does with his routes, he's probably one of the best route runners in the league, top 3 in my opinion. It's just great, man. And what he does with his arsenal, I think he can play for a few more years, because even when he started to lose his athleticism, how good of a route tactician he is, tied to the quarterback he's tied to, I think he's going to be all right. And they're going to keep on forcing him the ball.
Also love Keenan Allen. A lot of folks are always concerned with that kind of approaching 30 type of vibe with wide receivers. But the thing is if you're still doing it at that age, you're more likely to continue doing it, at least for a few more years. And Dynasty doesn't have to be a 5-year type of build. It can certainly just be a 2 or 3 year build where you're still getting elite numbers from Keenan Allen. So yeah, agree with that too. I mean, the route running is just insane.
All right, man. Let's talk about a guy that's getting a lot of hype, man. Mr. Mike Williams. Is this the year he's going to get more targets, more catches? I mean, I feel like we say that every year. So for me, I have him as a wide receiver 4. Definitely has wide receiver 2 upside, but again, will he get the targets to do that? Will he get the catches to do that? So for me, I do feel Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen does cap some of that. But of course, we see Mike Evans show up in the clutch, makes the big plays for Herbert. So what are you guys' thoughts on Mike Williams? Is he a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3? What are you guys thinking?
He's never really had like a bad season necessarily. He's already had 1,000-yard season too, and the air yards are there, the yards per target there, however you want to look at it. And sure, it's often jump balls, but I just hope that they can find better situations for him to succeed more often, because I don't necessarily think it's a Mike Williams issue. I still have hope, and he might end up being a better NFL player than he is for your fantasy team.
Yep, and that's okay.
Facts. Every year he has 10 plus touchdown potential just because of his size and athleticism. So we'll see, man, going forward with that offense. I like him. I would shoot for a wide receiver 3 potential style with him, but he has that upside, man, just because of what he can do. I like him.
All right, I definitely want to see him clear more than 50 catches. So if he gets into that 70 range, then that lets me know he's trending towards wide receiver 2. So something to look at. Let's get into some other wide receivers. Are you guys interested in anybody else? You know, Tyron Johnson, KJ Hill, Jalen Guyton, Joe Reed. Are you checking for any of those guys or stashing them?
Teron Johnson's kind of interesting to me, but that's about it.
What about you, Dad?
I don't think nobody's that interested for me, man. Like I said, I love Mike Williams and I love Keenan Allen, and they have Austin Eckler coming out the backfield. They went and got a veteran at tight end to replace Hunter Henry. So even with touchdowns, you know, I don't know. I just feel like there's no potential for anybody outside of that to have any kind of real production unless the injury happens. So
yeah, I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm not interested in just getting a piece of Justin Herbert's offense for the hell of it. You know, it seems like a Kansas City situation. They got their top pass catchers, and of course some other guys will flash here and there, but I want consistency. So especially if you're trying to, you know, make a playoff run. So that's what you need. All right, let's get to the tight end room real quick. Are you guys interested in a Jared Cook, 34 years old, 12-year vet? So, of course, he's shown he can finish in the top 10, of course, coming from New Orleans and also Oakland. So, yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Jared Cook fitting into this offense, taking over for Hunter Henry?
Gabe, you got this one too.
Just kind of a streamer for me. I don't know if I really want to rely on something like that. You'd probably be your tight end 2 on your team, or if you ditch tight end and you grab a collection of those guys, I'm fine with that. But you're gonna have to stream kind of week to week and sweat it out. I don't think he is really gonna have a season like he had before, particularly with Eckler back. Hopefully with both wide receivers good, there's just a lot less there for him to earn, and not to mention they still got Parham, who is had an all right showing when Henry was out. So might see some 2 tight end sets or just fewer snaps for Cook.
Yeah, I don't really want him either. And with the upside of the touchdowns you can get from Eckler out the backfield catching, and the upside of Mike Williams, I just talked about him and his height, size. I don't really care about the tight end, especially when you go get a veteran, so he's going to play. But the upside of older Jared Cook is gone now, in my opinion.
All right, and Gabe touched on Donald Parham, a guy that's getting a lot of hype. Not a guy I'm checking for, but you know, he's considered a stash for me if I was interested, but I'm not. So, yeah, man. How do you feel about Donald? You're out on him then?
I'm not all the way out, but I'm not in. It's just one of those guys where you just pay attention to, see if he gets some run, see if it's just the Jared Cook show. If it turns into the Jared Cook show, I will definitely be all the way out. I know he's a veteran, but you're supposed to be the young guy with the upside. And if you can't beat out, you know, older Jared Cook, then I don't want nothing on the back end from him.
All right, bros, let's move on to the Denver Broncos, man. Hey, let's start with the QB room. I actually want no parts of the QB room. We got Teddy Bridgewater, you know, who just came over from Carolina. You know, of course, he finishes QB 19, but that's not sexy, right? And especially in Superflex, man. Like, if you're not in the top 14, 15, it's like, does it even matter? And even that's a little shaky, right? You want at least top 12 finish from your QB. So are you guys interested in this Denver QB room with Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock? And sorry that I'm grouping them together. I mean, if you feel we need to give them their own individual time, let's do that.
Nah, and it sucks that I love the weapons so damn much, man. And I still don't want the quarterback. I love the receivers they have. I love the tight end. I love the running back options. Hate the quarterback play. Don't want either one of them. And I don't even know who's starting at this point. They went and traded for Teddy, and all reports saying it might not even be the Teddy show. That just sounds backwards as shit.
Yeah. What about you, Gabe? You checking for these Broncos QBs?
I don't think I can, man. I feel like Teddy was traded to be the backup for Rodgers. I think that's what they were really hoping for, man, or maybe even traded for Watson too. That's still, I guess, potentially a thing, but that's man. Imagine that Denver offense if Watson was traded there. We need that, bro. But other than that, no.
All right, man. Let's keep it pushing. Let's move on to the running back room. We got Melvin Gordon, 28 years old. He put up a top 15 finish last year, stepping into that new Denver offense. So, of course, we all know they drafted Javonte Williams. Do you guys see this being a 1A, 1B situation, or is Javonte Williams just going to be like the student of the game while they, let Melvin Gordon get some run? So what are you guys thinking? How soon does Javonte take over the backfield? Even if he does?
Gabe, you got it. I'll piggyback.
They start. I mean, it was funny watching their ADP in different drafts between Dynasty and Best Ball, because I mean Melvin Gordon was going way ahead of everything, really, aside from Dynasty probably, but at least in Best Ball. And then you start seeing Javonte climb, particularly when they started talking about Melvin might not even make the team, and then that report was kind of whack anyway. So it's tough to say. At this point, you kind of have to say 1A, 1B. I don't think Melvin Gordon necessarily played horribly last year. I think he should still be involved, but I'm a huge Javonte Williams dude. So I'd kind of rather hope that he'd take over sooner rather than later, selfishly. And especially if the Broncos will just be bad anyway without trading for a Watson or something. So I like Williams. I'm kind of grabbing Gordon in some best ball late now because he's just been dying. But other than that, I'm kind of fading Melvin Gordon ultimately.
I'm fading them in Dynasty because you see what they did and what they want to do going forward. But in redraft, I do think Melvin Gordon's going to start off, and he might even start hot. But I think this team is going to be so bad. I think they're going to transition sooner than later to see what they have so they can know what they need to do going forward, see what the running back has, the receiving core, and then work on transitioning to getting a quarterback next year. I don't know. I took Javonte Williams in my redraft leagues because I'm banking on a league winner at the end of the year. If I couldn't piece together the front half of my roster, then I don't deserve to win either. So I took Javonte even in redraft just because I see going forward he will overtake. Might have a good back end of the season, help me win a championship.
All right. I definitely like some Javonte Williams. So, yeah. And, of course, Melvin Gordon, again, with these startups, I'm definitely seeing Melvin fall late into these drafts. So, definitely, if you need a sneaky starter, at least start the season off, there you go with Melvin Gordon. He's 28 years old. So, he still got some run left in him, man. Still got some gas in the tank. But all in all, we all know it's going to be Javonte's backfield. Just a matter of how soon. So, all right, man, let's get to this wide receiver room. Jerry Jeudy, man, we're all excited about him. Led the team in targets last year. Struggled with some drops, but that's okay. I mean, but his route running, it's pretty nice, man. He came in as a plug-and-play route runner. So definitely expecting him to take a sophomore leap. Got a supporting cast coming back with Cortland Sutton. Noah Fant's going to help open up some things. So I'm curious to see how the QB supports him. But what are you guys' thoughts on Jerry Jeudy?
I love him. I don't know if we're still going to get the season we want. Still might be a buy low type season. But if something happens and they go get a real QB, man, he can shoot all the way up. He's one of the smoothest route runners in the NFL, man. We just literally talked about Keenan Allen. Jerry Jeudy has that type of route running, man. He's so good. He makes defenders look foolish. So I can't wait for him to be a quarterback's friend. I just don't know if this season is going to be a thing. So we're still going to have a lot of young guys blow up, and I still think Jerry Jeudy is going to be a good buy all season, especially in Dynasty.
Yeah, if you're a believer in either one of these dudes, this is the season to do that. Because I would imagine that things are going to be at least an attempt to fix them next year or during the offseason with a trade of sorts or whatever the case may be. But I know we're talking Jeudy, but whenever you talk about Jeudy, I have to talk about Sutton because that's my boy. So it's tough because they're both great wide receivers, and not to mention Fant's there. And I'm sure we'll talk about him as well. But man, it's just probably the most talented skill position players as a team with also the like worst QB situation. So if you believe in the talent of these receiving options, now is the time to do that, because they were going to surge on whatever QB it's going to be. I don't think it's going to improve.
Facts.
Yep. I like that, man. I'm definitely going to go get Jerry Jeudy. I'm still going to go get Cortland Sutton. Hopefully he bounces back, coming back off the injury this year. I'm definitely capable of a wide receiver 2 finish. Of course, he's capable of putting up 1,000 yards. He gets a lot of looks in the red zone. So yeah, I definitely see him, bouncing back, man, and returning to that fashion. So hopefully he can do it. It's just a question of, can the QB support that, to your point. Any other wide receivers you guys checking for? I know they got KJ Hamler. I know they got Tim Patrick, who actually stepped in for Cortland Sutton while he was out last year. Are you guys stashing these guys?
I like
Patrick
those
is
guys.
A baller, man.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say was
No
Tim
doubt.
Patrick is a baller.
He is.
I think he'll get some run soon.
Yeah, it's too bad that those guys are wide receiver 3 and 4 on those teams. Is kind of the Michael Gallup treatment of sorts. Not Michael Gallup level of talent necessarily, but just that, lowest on the totem and not going to get the respect that they probably deserve on this team. So,
yeah, man. All right, man, let's jump into the tight end room, man. So Noah Fant, I mean, everyone's excited about him coming out alongside TJ Hawkinson. Both had tight end U, man. That's what we'll call it, man, out of Iowa. But Noah Fant, he took a leap, man. So he finished as a tight end 8. Of course, there were some targets left out there for him, given there's no Sutton. But look, I do see an opportunity for him to step it up in the touchdown department. I love his game. He's athletic, one of the more, athletic tight ends. What are your guys' thoughts on Noah Fant? Is this a guy that you're going after from a late tight end standpoint if you miss out on the big names?
I don't have a huge desire. Just, considering he's going basically where he's going to finish, and I mean, you can grab tight ends, rounds later that will finish a point per game behind him and be just fine. So I'm fine fading Fant this year, but like I said, in Dynasty, I think this would be the year to acquire Noah Fant, because I think things are going to get better next year.
Acquire everybody on this team down there, man, because this year it's not going to look pretty again, man. So just go get them all. Like week 4, when Drew Lock's out there throwing 2 interceptions a game, just go buy everybody.
And then next year they're getting Aaron Rodgers.
Fact.
That could still happen.
Probably. Or Deshaun. One of them. If they get Deshaun, he ain't playing until next year anyway. So same deal.
All right, let's talk about one more tight end. If you guys are interested in Albert O, I'm not going to butcher his last name, but Drew Lock's old teammate from Missouri, another athletic tight end. Are you guys stashing him at all? Any upside there?
Got to be tight end premium, Dynasty something, but nah.
Not worry about it.
All right, man. Let's move on to the Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr, man. Do you guys like Derek Carr in Dynasty? I mean, where do you guys have him? Is he a QB2? Is that all he's going to be? Do you guys ever see him creeping into the QB1 conversation? What are your thoughts?
I think he's not a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I just think he's a quarterback that's worth having on your team as a QB2. I think he has his roster spot. They like playing him. I think they're trying to curate the offense to make it. He has a great tight end, and I think they just need to learn how to use the weapons that they bring in. Also, Josh Jacobs, great receiving running back. They don't use him like that. Ruggs, fast all over the field. They don't use him like that. Brian Edwards, he's big, and you can have 2 Darren Wallers out there running the field just dominating all over. I feel like they need to learn how to use their players, and it could work better for Derek Carr if they utilize his weapons right. But he's a guy that doesn't cost you to go buy, especially in super flex leagues. Nobody's going to hit you over if you want to turn security or back. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But he's all right. If I had him on my team, I wouldn't be mad as QB2.
All right, what about you, Gabe?
Just so boring to have as a QB2 on your team, but he just does what he does, and he's actually pretty accurate for the depth of his average depth of target, which is a positive, but like, I mean, they need to be able to stretch the field more with Ruggs and Edwards. And so you might be able to see that this year if it all kind of comes together and culminates. But man, it's just, he's just such a boring QB2 to have on your team, but he's certainly solid. But solid doesn't necessarily get you a chip with the dip. So he's fine. He's fine.
I'm with you there, man, because, you know, if you're running with him as your QB2, like, he's going to win you some games and lose you some games. It's just too much up and down, no consistency. So he'll give you 25 points, and he'll bounce back, play against the Chiefs, and give you 3 points. Like, it's just up and down like that. So I'm comfortable with him as my third QB on my roster, but not someone who I'm actively going to go get. Real quick, let's talk about Marcus Mariota. I actually would like to see him take over that starting job in that system, man. He just looked better, especially in that game against the Chargers. This is more exciting. So are you guys stashing Marcus Mariota even if he leaves Vegas?
I don't hate it. Maybe as a Tannehill resurgence or something, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't really care for Marcus Mariota like that, man. I don't think he's anything special anymore at this point, man. But who knows? Who knows?
All right, man. Let's get into the running back room. You got Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake. Who's actually going to be the man? Like, if I feel like they paid Kenyon Drake to be the man, but they still got Josh Jacobs. So I don't know, man. Is this a messy backfield? Are you guys investing in this Vegas backfield for Dynasty?
I want to hear Gabe talk about it, and I want to see if he's as worried about the Kenyon Drake signing as the whole fantasy community is at this point.
I think the Raiders are really bad with money, and I don't even know how good they are at managing their team either as far as their picks. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of success out of their picks either. And so it might just be a poorly managed team, and it's scaring us more than it should. I do think Drake will play, absolutely, but do I think Josh Jacobs deserves to be falling to like 6th, 7th round? Probably not. I in redraft or best ball in that case, and I don't know where he's landing in dynasties, probably around 3rd or 4th or whatever in one QB, but I don't think he necessarily deserves that. I think he has the potential to be that RB1. But again, maybe in that purgatory, like I mentioned with CEH. So that certainly worries me. Drake's going to play. I just don't know if it's as much of an issue as fantasy Twitter makes it to be.
Yeah. And
I agree. I'm not too, you got it.
No, go ahead, bro. My bad.
No. I was just about to say, I'm not too worried about Kenyon Drake. And I do think Josh Jacobs is talented. What he came in to be was a pass catching back, and then he showed that he can run better than what we expected. And now they took away what we thought that he would be great in. So I still think he's going to be good running the ball, and I still think they're not going to use him in the way that they should, bringing in Kenyon Drake, because that's one of his strengths also. So I'm not worried about Kenyon Drake. I just think the upside for Josh Jacobs still got shut down by bringing in Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, man. And some may say Josh is being disrespected. He finished as the RB8 last year. So, I mean, you know, clearly he can carry the load, but I see Gruden, you know, he's an old school coach. He's going to ride the hot hand week to week, and who had the better practice that week, stuff like that, man. So that's definitely going to mess with your Vegas backfield. That's what I'm anticipating. Let's get into this wide receiver room. So, of course, you know, you got Brian Edwards, you got Henry Ruggs. Who's going to have that sophomore leap, man? Who's going to break out? Who you guys expecting to take that leap?
Oh, Brian Edwards, please. Just I'm such an Edwards fan.
And that sums up fantasy Twitter right there.
Edwards fan.
Yeah. Tell you why. Oh man. Well, look, I feel like he got a bad rap with the broken foot. You know, pre-combine, so he couldn't quite have a normal offseason like all these other dudes. I mean, he was projected to be a first-round wide receiver. Everything lined up with tape, everything lined up with analytics. Like, breakout age was great. It's just the injuries a little bit at South Carolina, and then certainly in the offseason going into the NFL dropped him into that day too. But I still believe in Brian Edwards a little bit. Not really a Ruggs fan, and it seems like there is at least one wide receiver that can put up those wide receiver 2 and beyond numbers with sharing with Waller, because Aguilar went and did it. Edwards is playing ahead of John Brown right now. Renfro's still he'll be playing the slot, but I think Edwards has the ability to play all over the field. Your prototypical wide receiver 1. Come on, Brian.
BE's. I like them both, to be honest. And I really just think whoever Gruden runs like the most strategic is going to win out of them both. Like, I feel like they ran Ruggs wrong last year. I feel like Edwards didn't get the break that he should have got as far as opportunity. So whoever they like the most to put out there that works towards both of their skill sets, because I think Edwards can be moved all over. He can play like all over the field more than Ruggs, but Ruggs' skill set is great with the speed. So it just depends on who you're going to utilize to their strength the most. It's going to be the most efficient. There will be one, though, with Waller. I just don't know which one, but I do like them both.
Yeah, man, I like them both as well. But give me Brian Edwards if I had to plant my flag. Just give him prototypical size, and it seems like they are leveraging him the right way, at least in camp, like as far as how you run in, the big man possession type routes. So I like to see that. But again, they have other wide receivers. Seems like they brought in John Brown to hedge their bet in case if Henry Ruggs needs another year. I don't know how much time you got to give the guy. But again, a lot of that is on how is Gruden going to use his chess pieces, man. That's what it comes down to. So I'm actually not checking for anyone else in this wide receiver room. I know they got Willie Snead and some other guys, Hunter Renfrow, but the production won't be consistent enough to help win you fantasy games week to week. So I'm not checking for it in Dynasty. Let's talk about Darren Waller, man. I mean, he's a stud. We don't have to, spend too much time. Do you guys see him taking over the tight end 1 spot in Dynasty, or is it Kelsey spot until further notice?
Kelsey spot to further notice.
Nasty.
I agree, but if it is anyone, it's probably Waller. I don't think Kittle can do it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree as well, man. It seems like the Raiders are running their offense through Waller, similar to how the Chiefs run their offense through Kelsey, right? So similar, man. So, yeah, it's just a matter of who can get more catches and more yards. That's what it comes down to. But I will say Waller has the edge in terms of not having the strongest supporting cast. So that gives him an opportunity to finish as number 1. But until further notice, I still think it's Travis Kelce all day.
All right.
With it.
All right, man. Let's get to this NFC West, man. Let's start with the 49ers, man. Jimmy G. Are you guys interested in Jimmy G? I know he's coming off the injury.
Come on.
Checking for him.
I'm not talking about him.
man.
All right, man. What about Trey Lance, man? How soon do we see a Trey Lance starting? Of course, we're hearing they're going to give him some packages. So Kyle Shanahan looks like he's going to get Trey involved early. I guess how they ease Lamar in. But, yeah, are you guys watching Trey Lance in Dynasty?
Yes. Yes. Just the running ability just has to be respected these days, man. I mean, that we got Lamar, we've got Kyler, we've got Deshaun. I mean, these dudes are taking over the game. We don't know for how long yet. We don't know if there's longevity to it, but you don't, like I said earlier, you don't necessarily need 5 years in the game. You could just win a couple of ships with 2 or 3 years of this high quality product. So I'm with Trey Lance, and I think he starts by week 5, honestly.
Okay.
Ditto. I ditto everything he say.
All right, man. Well, based on that, let's move to the running back room. It's a little bit messy, man. I know they got Raheem Mostert, who fought for the extension last year, coming off the injury. They drafted Trey Sermon. So, of course, he's out of the 3rd round, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So who's going to take over this backfield? It's still Mostert's backfield. They got Trey Sermon. Of course, Jeff Wilson just went on the IR. And then you got hype around JaMychal Hasty, Elijah Mitchell. So who are you guys interested in out of this Niners backfield?
I do think it's going to be the Trey Sermon and Mostert show. Mostert's going to play, man. He's the veteran. But I wouldn't be surprised if he actually is the 1B to the 1A of Trey Sermon. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind. He's always going to run a couple backs no matter what. But they went and handpicked their guy in the draft, so I know they're going to try to keep him involved. It's a great running offense to be involved in. So I do think there's a 1A, 1B, but just depends. Mostert hasn't been the most healthiest guy, so give me a guy like Trey Sermon that they went and picked, even though I wasn't super excited about him coming out of Ohio State. But these guys are experts at their job for a reason, and Shanahan like Trey Sermon. I think he's going to want to get involved, and I like that. I like that offense.
I think that it's certainly risky to get into an offense run by Shanahan, but it's also super valuable, as we've seen in the past with running backs. It's just difficult to determine, who that running back is. And so sometimes it has been two running backs, but that's pretty few and far between. And you mentioned the injuries with Sermon and even with Mostert. Like I'm looking at Elijah Mitchell, man. I love Elijah Mitchell. I'm putting him at the end of my dynasty roster. So I'm hoping he can show something for us.
All right. I'm actually staying away from that running back room unless the value just falls to me. So yeah, but let's keep it pushing to the wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, man, another guy that's primed for a sophomore leap as far as with the training camps. He's been a favorite target with Jimmy G and Trey Lance, so he's been consistent. Of course, we all see the highlights, and he's athletic. He makes plays, gets downfield. Is this going to be the Brandon Ayuk show? Is he taking over this wide receiver room for the Niners?
Yeah, you got this one.
Man, I see him as the wide receiver one of the team. But there are so many targets to go around, not to mention with the running backs and with Trey Lance, maybe not necessarily throwing as much as we'd like to deliver all these targets to everywhere. So with respect to the all these guys ADP right now, it's hard to take them where they're going. But as far as the talent, it's like exactly what you want for all of those top receiving options to succeed. So I love Ayuk. I think he is the better of the two as far as wide receivers go, and I expect him to outperform Debo.
I agree. Ayuk's the better receiving option to me. It is a run-first offense, man, and that's how they want to play. That's how they succeed. But I will say this. With all the talent around, Debo's not the most healthiest guy. That's why I don't really want him in Dynasty or in redraft. He seems to always go down. But if anything happens to Debo, Ayuk is even more through the roof because when he's the main focus, you've seen those games when Debo was out. He'll get blanketed with like 12, 13 targets, and he'll do them the right way, very efficient with them. So I love some Brandon Ayuk. I love his upside. I like him, but I do think I agree with Gabe. His upside is a little bit short just on the offense. Everybody's healthy. But everything that needs to happen for this team to be efficient, it won't just be the Brandon Ayuk show. It's a lot of studs on this team.
You're muted, Vic.
Yeah, I am. My bad. Let's talk about the forgotten guy. You got something going, right? Let's talk about the forgotten guy coming back off injury, Deebo Samuel. Do you guys expect him to return to, being a playmaker in that offense? Is he going to be a primary focus? What are you guys' thoughts on Deebo? Are you still rostering him in Dynasty?
I think that he is certainly the more unique player and can be used in that Shanahan offense, may possibly better and just in different ways. I mean, his yards after the catch, his end around routes. I mean, you saw him do that plenty in 2019. So that's interesting to me. Just his ability to be all over the field, potentially more than Ayuk. But I still I favor Ayuk a little bit more.
I agree. I echo everything that was said about it.
All right, man. I'm not checking for any other wide receivers. If you guys are, now's your chance. You got the floor. All right,
guy.
Oh, you got a guy? You got a wide receiver?
Jalen Hurd back. Jalen Hurd back. That's what word on the streets. My guy.
You got it.
He was my guy last year. I'm not going to even lie. And then he got hurt as soon as I went on the pod and said, he's my guy. He got hurt like 2 days later.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
All right, man, real quick, man. George Kittle, he's a stud, man. He should be on your roster if you can get him, if you're willing to pay that price. That's all I'm going to say about him.
Facts.
Nasty.
All right, man. Let's go to the Seattle Seahawks, man. Russell Wilson, man. So again, he's an aging vet. What do you guys think about Russell Wilson? Are you guys still targeting him to be your QB1 in Dynasty, or are you fading him just given the age? I mean, what are your thoughts? I know he's aging a little bit, but what are your thoughts on Russell Wilson?
Never fading Russ, man. He still can run the ball, has those rushing chops me and Vic always talk about. And he has stud weapons at the receiving option with Tyler and a monster in DK. And, you know, he has great running options. And Chris Carson, when he can stay healthy in the offensive system, I think they're always efficient. He's a winner. He has one of the best arms in the league. I love Russell Wilson. And he's one of those guys that when he's hitting, he's hitting. So there's seasons where the rushing game is what's taking over. They scale him down. But when he's hitting, he's hitting. So I still love Russell Wilson, man.
Same. Yeah, entirely. If quote unquote aging QBs are still playing at an elite level at that age, you can't fade them.
I agree, man. Good point. Especially if you got the Aaron Rodgers and the Tom Brady's that's playing to their 40s and Aaron Rodgers trending towards 40. So, yeah, man, I definitely like that call. Let's get into the running back room. Chris Carson, I know injuries, has been a concern. He's been banged up at least the past few seasons. So he's had some RB2 finishes, and he's shown he can finish as an RB1. So what do you guys think about a Chris Carson, 26 years old, coming back for the Seahawks?
Great buy.
Couple years left in his contract.
Great buy. He doesn't cost a lot if you want to go get him in trade. A lot of people don't like him because he does stay banged up. When you think he just went and got paid this offseason, everybody thought he was going to move on. He's in a system that if they're all systems go running the ball, he has top 12 potential every single year. If he can stay healthy, that's the biggest thing. If he can stay healthy, top 12 potential at running back, and he doesn't cost that kind of price because he doesn't have the name or people are fading him because he can't ever stay healthy. But being tied to that offense, I love Chris Carson in Dynasty and in redraft. So
yeah, I'm with him in redraft. I mean, he's right there with Josh Jacobs and follow the volume as far as Chris Carson and him being healthy, whatever, 26, that's not like RB dead age yet. I think he's totally fine and going to be involved in the offense. So much involved in the offense, as a matter of fact. And I agree with you, Dot. I think he could have a RB1 season.
All right, man. A couple other guys, at least who I'm stashing, Rashad Penny and DJ Dallas. Of course, we know Rashad Penny, he's coming off injury. So can he stay healthy? Question marks there. Any interest for you guys? Excuse me. Any interest for you guys in any of those running backs, Rashad Penny or DJ Dallas?
it seems like they still like Rashad Penny, but I'm not really that interested in those guys, to be honest. Chris Carson's the guy, and I feel like when he's healthy, he gets the run. So just give me the guy they just paid. And I'm not going to just bank on a guy to be injured. So I'm going to bank on him being healthy. And if he's healthy through his contract, he'll be a good running back. And those other guys really won't matter that much.
Yeah, if Chris Carson happens to get injured, they're sending Todd Gurley. Before they let Penny and Dallas run.
Okay. We saw Dallas get some run last year.
A little bit. They gave him his shot, too, of sorts. And he didn't really do much with it, so.
All right, I'm still stashing those guys. I like to pack out my bench. All right, let's get to this wide receiver room. So, of course, Tyler Lockett. I know you talked about Mike Evans earlier, Gabe, but I feel like Tyler Lockett's a guy that gets, disrespected as well. So he's a guy that can give you a wide receiver one finish. He can put up 1,000 yards and finish with double-digit touchdowns. So he stretches the field, man, for the Seahawks. How do you guys feel about 28-year-old Tyler Lockett?
He's pushing for 100 catches every single year. He's Russell Wilson's security blanket. I know DK's the big play guy, but he loves to target Lockett even in the red zone, man. Lockett just has a nose to score touchdowns. I don't care how little he is. I love him in that system, and they're going to let him play for a few more years. So I like being tied with Tyler Lockett. He's a high-end wide receiver too, all day for me.
Okay.
Pretty safe where you're taking him to, and has that potential to be the wide receiver one for you. A lot of people hate on the boom weeks, but you need those boom weeks to win big on against the higher. I mean, there's a lot of luck involved in fantasy football, so the boom weeks don't really matter to me because you need them to win.
Facts.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about Mr. DK, man. His counterpart on the opposite side of the field. Of course, he had a wide receiver 7 finish last year in PPR. So, of course, a lot of hype and excitement around him. Do you guys see him maintaining a top 10 finish? And another question, do you even see him breaking into the top 5? Can he get the 1 from that standpoint?
Gabe, what you think about DK?
I don't like where he's going in redraft, honestly. I'd rather take Diggs, Hopkins, guys like Ridley. I mean, the guys that are kind of guaranteed a bit more volume. I certainly like the ability that DK has, but just with the scheme that Seattle kind of runs and Lockett being there, I just not sure that I can see him as a top 5 guy. But in Dynasty, I'm there all day for that.
Yeah, love him because he's going to dominate for years to come. But, like, I agree with you, though, on redraft, man. We broke it down on our wide receiver episode. When you look at those guys around that area and who you think could actually have the wide receiver 1 season this year, I actually don't see it for DK, man. As much as I love his size, his athleticism, his physicality, just the volume's not there, and it's too inconsistent with the way that offense runs sometimes. And so I love him in Dynasty. Love him. But in redraft, you know, I would rather prefer him as a wide receiver 2 in redraft, and I don't think he's going to be able to get that where he goes.
All right. Are you guys stashing Dwayne Eskridge, rookie wide receiver?
Never really grabbed him in any of my rookie drafts. Not that interested. Didn't like the profile.
Yeah, I'm not that interested. Me neither, but I'm not mad for the guys who want him to be Tyler Lockett in 4 years. Like, fine. When you get to if he's falling in your 3rd round, these rookie drafts, that's where you're doing dart throws anyway. I wasn't at the end to try to invest any 2nd round picks on him, but I seen him fall to some late 3rds, 4th rounds. I'm gonna shoot my shot just because I like the organization and I think they're pretty steady.
All right, man. We got a couple tight ends, Gerald Everett and Will Dissly. Now, some people might not like that I grouped them together, but are you guys excited for Gerald Everett, new landing spot in Seattle, coming from the Rams?
I always see the tight end being an issue with Seattle. It seems like they don't really target the tight end often, especially with Lockett and DK there. Again, probably one of those guys that you group with Cook. You know, you can have him as a tight end too, maybe, or just group a bunch of those dart throws at the end to hopefully have one of them hit or stream them from week to week, whatever the case may be. But meh on Everett.
I agree, and I love Everett leaving. Yeah, meh. But I love them leaving to try to find opportunity. But like you said, the tight end opportunity isn't there in Seattle. But I do love the player, though, if it means anything. Love the player.
All right, man. Let's move on, man. Arizona Cardinals, a couple more teams, man. Appreciate you guys rocking with us, sticking this out, man. I know we're getting long-winded, but let's go to Arizona. We got Kyler Murray. So, of course, as a rookie, had a top 6 finish, and then last year finished as the QB3 in PPR. Of course, the rushing upside is crazy, over 100 carries for a QB. I'm not sure if they're going to keep giving him that many carries, but you'll take that all day long, given, you know, if he puts the ball in the end zone on the ground with his feet 11 times, you'll take it. So, of course, you know, for me, he's a top 5 dynasty QB. I know people knock his accuracy as far as from a real life fan or real life football standpoint, but he's good for fantasy football.
Facts. Gabe, you go before I piggyback on Vic.
I'm piggybacking as well. As a matter of fact, I know we talked about the AFC West and who the QB1 is, but I don't know. Avo, you got the one back there, little Beebs and Drake, because I might have to switch it up and go Kyler as the QB1. Man, he really has the potential to do it.
I don't have it at the moment.
I like that song. Nah, man, he's great. When we talk QBs, I love him for fantasy, and I think my biggest thing, I just talked to White Sam about, you know, drafting in one of these leagues where they don't start their league till 2023, and I'm like, I love Kyler, but with how inaccurate he is sometimes, I wouldn't be surprised in 4 years if the team is tired of it, if it's not clicking in 4 years. But I still love him for fantasy. I love what he brings to the table, and I do think there is room to even get better from last year. He was actually the QB1 for so many weeks until he finally got banged up. You know, he still has D-Hop. AJ Green, does he count for anything? No, he just got banged up and can't. But nah, just in general, I like what he brings to the table, and I think they want to set him up and to succeed. He's great. He's great. I love him. Top 5 QB in Dynasty.
All right, let's get to this running back room. You got Chase Edmonds. I'll be honest, I'm not too excited for Chase Edmonds. I know he's given the keys, and of course, you know, they brought in James Conner as well. But this feels like a poor man's Vegas scenario. Like you got Chase Edmonds playing the Josh Jacobs role, and then you got Kenyon Drake coming in to hedge the bet for, you know, James Conner. So I'm not actually too excited for this backfield. And for me, what I saw, Chase did a lot of his damage in the passing game. So I'm not even really excited for him to even run the ball. So what are you guys' thoughts on Chase? I know I just kind of shitted on him a little bit, but don't let me kill your excitement.
Yeah, I mean, for him to be in that kind of RB2 range is really where his ceiling is, and I don't necessarily like to draft players there. I'd almost rather take Connor a few rounds later, if depending on the type of build that I'm working with there. But I've certainly taken him in some 0 RB builds, and that's kind of the vibe there with Connor. You know, he's going RB3, RB4 off the board late, like 10th, 11th round. Like, it's too easy. So I'm fading Edmonds, but don't mind Connor in some situations.
I don't mind Connor because I think Connor's going to be the goal line back. It's kind of what you're hearing out of Buffalo with the Zach Moss, and you don't really want that backfield either. Like, Edmonds going to play the Singletary role, get a lot of the pass catching out the backfield, but everything is ran through Kyler and his receivers. Whatever Kyler wants to do, Kyler's going to do. So I'm not in love with Chase Edmonds and his strength being the passing game, because I don't know if Kyler's going to dump it off to him enough. And I don't know if, you know, the goal line back in James Conner is going to get enough goal line runs, because Kyler will run 10+ touchdowns in a season. So it's just, I don't know. The upside for both of those backs isn't that high for me, so I'd rather just not have them, honestly.
Okay, let's get into this wide receiver room. DeAndre Hopkins, you know, he had a top 4 finish last year, 29 years old. We all know he's the man. We saw him catch, you know, the game-winning touchdown against the Bills and triple coverage, which was crazy. The man writes his own contracts. So, yeah, you got to pay the man. But, yeah, man, I definitely see DeAndre doing his thing for Arizona for the next years to come. So from a dynasty standpoint, I would still go get DeAndre Hopkins. Even if you want to, you know, if you feel you're pushing for a title, he's a guy I would trade for. Just given, again, he's getting older. A lot of people like to stay young in dynasty. But for me, if I go get a Hopkins and throw him in my flex, I just beefed up my flex, or add him as my wide receiver 2, you know, run him as my wide receiver 2. You know he's going to give you wide receiver 1 numbers. So are you guys still checking for DeAndre in dynasty?
Yes. Top 3 hands in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if he pushed for target leader, touchdown leader. He has that kind of potential. And with the upside of, you know, him, but everybody loves the young guy, the young names in dynasty. He's probably still a buy right now. And he's tied to a quarterback and organization where he could still garner everything that he requires to be a top receiver for 2 or 3 more years solid, and you don't have to worry about it. So I still love going to go get DeAndre, and I probably need to go get him in some more of my leagues, to be honest.
Yeah, he's fallen far further than I would have thought. It's kind of the Keenan Allen, the Mike Evans, whatever. Is like, these guys are just, their ability to play at elite levels at 27, 28, 29. I mean, you just have to keep riding that, because they're going to be playing into their 30s, and sure, they will fall off, but it's not necessarily a long game with dynasty. It can be short scoped as well.
All right, man, let's talk about Rondale Moore, man. It's just a guy you guys checking for in dynasty. And for me, I'll be honest, like, he's a guy who, at least with these rookie drafts, if I didn't like who was on the board come the second round, because I didn't see him go, you know, too much in the first round of these rookie drafts, unless you really wanted him, like at the 112 or something. But if he fell to me, like in the middle of the second rounds, I took him, but not really a guy I was really checking for. So, yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Rondale?
I know my man J Mike loves him.
You got it first.
And we just had to acquire him via trade and sent away one of our other boys, Waddle, but ended up with Fields instead of Zach Wilson. So I think we won that. But I'm interested to see.
Yeah, you got Fields and Rondale.
Bro, I'm so hyped for Fields. Yeah. This is about to turn into an NFC North podcast if we keep that going. I'm curious what Rondale Moore does in that kind of build with wide receiver, because we've seen it a little bit of success with Debo. We're starting to see it a little bit last year with Chenault. And so I think we could see that type of wide receiver find some success in the NFL, particularly with Cliff Dingleberry. So I don't know. I'm curious, but I see what you mean, Vic. And when he's there in the second round, I'm like, I'd rather Elijah, but I'll take Rondale.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you can't pass on the value. But go ahead.
Yeah. Dot?
Man. I mean, Rondale's all right. I like his talent. I think he's great athletically, and I do think he actually runs real good routes. So I think he can be used because I think that offense is going to find a way to keep him involved. And long as they can find a way to use him to his strengths, I think he'll be all right. But I don't ever think he'll be a solid week-to-week play, ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's part of my concern. Like, Hopkins commands a lot of targets. Christian Kirk, believe it or not, he's still going to get his. I mean, he didn't have the best finish, but if you look at his points he put up, he still was involved. So, of course, a lot of people are getting hype about the Rondale camp videos. And don't get me wrong, he's talented, but I don't think he'll be consistent enough. So, for me, it feels like another McCole Hardman type situation. I just want consistent production in fantasy. So, all right. Any other wide receivers you guys checking for? I know they got AJ Green. I talked about Christian Kirk. They still got Andy Isabella. You guys stashing any of these guys?
I don't think
want
so.
Them or the tight end.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we can definitely blow past. Yeah. There's no tight end presence there, so we can move on. The last squad. So let's get into these Los Angeles Rams, man. Let's talk about Matt Stafford, man. So of course, the trade coming from Detroit. I'm curious to see how he performs in this offense. I do think it's going to be a little bit of a different system. We all know Stafford likes to throw the ball deep. The Rams, at least in the past, and maybe it's because of Jared Goff's limitation, they didn't take too many deep shots, but maybe that'll change. But they like to play a horizontal game, at least from what they've shown, and run the ball off the edge. So how do you guys feel about Stafford? Are you guys still targeting him in Dynasty?
Absolutely. I think he's still young enough to have some value and potentially put you in that top 5 as far as a season for QB. And it's probably his best receiving core since he had Megatron, honestly. So with Kupp and Woods, and I mean, Higbee's still there. Unfortunately, Akers is not, but Henderson will do fine out the backfield. So I think Stafford could really have a top 5 season given the weapons and his ability.
And the one thing I will say is, he has a coach that is is a great offensive mind. So I think they'll scheme up plays to make him efficient. And he's used to being on horrible teams, so you kind of know that he's always throwing the ball. He has to be a gunslinger, but they have a great defense. And I think they can go play whatever game they want to week by week. If they want to try to go Darrell Henderson run game, that's fine. If they want to throw the ball a lot, they can. I think they'll have options. They won't be forced to play catch up due to bad defense and bad offensive line play. Just in general, I think the switch over to the LA Rams is great for Stafford. I still think he has a firearm, and I'm actually super excited for his receivers. So I like Matthew Stafford.
All right, man, let's talk about these running backs. Of course, Cam Akers went down with the injuries, done for the year. Do you guys still have him as a top running back in Dynasty, or are there concerns coming off the ACL injury?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to come back from for Akers with the Achilles. Okay.
Yeah, Achilles.
Sorry, I almost thought
did I get the wrong injury? I said ACL. Is that the same thing? I don't know.
I hope not.
It's been a long day for me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, man, that's going to be a tough thing to come back from. But if I'm sure that you can go and acquire Akers for cheap, that's for sure. And I don't think that I'll be doing it personally, but I just hope the best for him.
Sorry, I just killed the shit out of a mosquito. The shit out of him.
Come on now, dog.
On my wall, trying to sneak up on me.
Come on, man.
Man, he's creeping up, just chilling in a room with us. Boy, my bad, y'all.
Ain't no broskitos in here. Ain't no broskitos.
I like that.
FOH.
Out of here. What I'm talking about. I forgot what we was even talking about. We talking about Cam Akers. We talking about Daryl Henderson.
Cam Akers, bro. Are you still going to go get him in Dynasty, given the Achilles or ACL? If that's the same thing, I don't even know right now. I'm so serious. I don't know.
It's different, but I'm not. They're separate injuries. But I'm not necessarily going to go buy him, but I'm not trading him either, man. It's just one of those guys I'll just keep. Vic, you know, I love some Cam Akers, and when we was at the combine, I watched him, and I was just all about Cam Akers, and I'll just keep him at this point, man. And it is what it is. You know, you can't really predict injuries, so I just hope for a safe recovery outside of fantasy football. Hope that man all right.
All right, man. I respect that. Let's talk about Daryl Henderson. So, of course, you know, given the injury, he's the man now. He's been elevated to the RB1 for the Rams. For me, man, this feels like a trap. And here's why I'm going to say that. I feel like they had Todd Gurley there. They brought in Henderson just to see, okay, what are we going to do with Gurley? Do we want to keep him around, or do we got the future here? And then after, you know, Henderson flashed a little bit, but they still ended up drafting Cam Akers. So for me, I'm just looking at how everything played out. They had Gurley. They drafted Cam Akers. It's almost like, you know, they didn't really trust Henderson, but he gets a second or third chance, we'll call it here, given the Cam Akers injury. So again, for me, Daryl Henderson's not a guy who I'm checking for or been checking for, not even excited for given the Cam news. What do you guys' thoughts on Daryl Henderson?
I don't want him.
Yeah, it's too much now. It was nice when that news kind of first dropped, and certainly no need to flex there with getting a value of sorts, but now it's just not worth it. He's getting up in like Josh Jacobs range, and it's just Josh Jacobs range.
Yeah,
never.
All right, Xavier Jones, you guys checking for him? We are. Are you checking for Xavier? I gotta throw it out there. I'm not checking for Xavier either. So,
not really. End of the roster there.
You better talk about him. You throw him out there, Vic.
I was just interested if you guys were. I'm just, you know, there might be a Xavier Jones stand out there along with a Daryl Henderson stand. So, just want to give him a little respect. All right, man. Let's group these wide receivers together, man. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, both have wide receiver, both are wide receiver twos. Of course, Robert Woods has wide receiver one upside. Cooper Kupp, he had a top 4 finish the previous year, but of course he fell out of that. So, given, you know, for me, they're both wide receiver twos. Could have wide receiver one upside, but if I had to pick one, Robert Woods is the guy who I would want to roster from that wide receiver room. So, what are your thoughts there about either one of those guys?
They both got wide receiver one upside. There's a row where Woods is just a PPR machine and Kupp is the same, but Kupp is going to dominate touchdowns. I love both of them, man. And if he was both of them were doing all of that with Jared Goff, and I think that was all schemed up with a not as talented arm at quarterback, man. So give me an upgrade at quarterback, same system, same situation. And I just think both of them could be, you know, they're both wide receiver twos, but they both have wide receiver one potential. If they were 11 and 12 at the end of the season, and you asked me, was I surprised? I would tell you no.
Yeah, it's a bit reminiscent of the Lockett and Metcalf ADP from last year, and I remember specifically mistakenly saying that just one of them can be a wide receiver one. And that came to be obviously untrue because they were both top 10 wide receivers. So I think that's entirely possible given this offense, given Stafford, the idea that they are going to throw the ball potentially more and throw it well with Stafford. So, yeah, wheels up. Let's get it.
Yeah, Robert Woods is another piece. Again, if you're trying to beef up your flex, I know he's aging. I would go get him for sure, especially for a title run. Cooper Kupp, I'm actually starting to fade a little bit. But, yeah, I'm not mad at it if you do want to go get him. Van Jefferson, you guys stashing him. I know he's a plug-and-play pro. Everyone's excited about him coming out of college from Florida.
Yep, don't mind Van Jefferson either.
I like Van Jefferson, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's bumping heads. I know this name is not going to sound sexy at all, so don't shoot the messenger. But Deshaun Jackson is out there playing, and the way that Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp plays, he's their stretch the field guy, and I wouldn't be shocked if they let him go out there and run with Stafford, and him and Van Jefferson are butting heads at that role. I don't love Deshaun Jackson. I don't want him in redraft or dynasty, so don't hear what I'm saying. But for the people who love Van Jefferson in dynasty, I get it. But this year, there's a world where Deshaun is the stretch the field guy for until he goes injury. You know, he always gets banged up at some point, but Deshaun's out there playing, man, in camp. So I'm sorry to throw that out there. I know that's not sexy anymore.
I'm good. 13-year or 13-year. I said 13-year-old. 13-year vet. I'm good. All right.
Yeah, cool.
Tight ends, Tyler Higbee. I got burned last year. I'm off the train. I just got to call myself out for that fuckery.
I feel like this is the perfect.
I'm okay fading too.
Oh, for real? I think this is the perfect time to go get him. Stafford's shown that he doesn't mind throwing to the tight end. But I do think it runs through the receivers first. But there's a role where it's just all system go and just the passing game now that Cam Akers is down. And I do think Tyler Higbee is talented. But him and Gerald Everett were just butting heads last year, and we were overly excited on Higbee. So there's a role where Higbee is the third receiving option, and that could be good in a Matthew Stafford-led team. With the Rams, they could just be throwing the ball all over the damn field. So I still like Tyler Higbee, man. As long as we come down on the expectations, I like Tyler Higbee.
I can see that, but I'm just going to watch from afar from right now. So I might have to get back in.
Vic feels away on that one.
Yeah, man, I got burned bad, bro.
3 times.
Yeah, man. Man, hey, we got through it. A lot of players, a lot of teams, good convo. Man, anything else you guys want to add before we move to the closing?
Cougar special, baby.
Cougar special. We're going to run it next year at the Expo, Vic.
I'm excited, bro. You going to be at the Expo, Gabe?
Before closing those.
I'll be there. I'll see y'all Friday, Saturday, whenever.
Let's do it, man. Sounds good. We'll link up for sure. Toast up some drinks.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yo.
The link is real. But before we get to the closing, Vic, tell the good people where they can follow you at again, brother.
Yeah, you guys can follow me at ChiefSosaFF, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, Dynasty Bros FF, and join the Facebook community, Dynasty Bros FF Podcast. Appreciate that.
Gabe, where can we follow you at?
Don't forget the FF, Vic. Don't forget the FF.
My bad.
Whacking.
FF Bro Bun for today. FF Man Bun. There it is. Yeah. I gotta get out of here, guys. I have some edgeladas to eat. All right. I mean, I couldn't go with the gold tea, so I got edgeladas to eat. No, I appreciate y'all. I'm FF Man Bun. Follow my homie J Mike Check though. That's the real one. Open bar Tuesdays, 9:30 Eastern ish. Heavy on that ish.
And we'll definitely have you back on another episode. It's not so long-winded, man. So we appreciate you coming to show out, man.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to shout out Avo too, because I've popped in a couple of times and watched the stream. I just always think it's so dope that like literally a live DJ is going during a podcast. I don't know if gets enough respect for that, because it's definitely unique to what's going on. So shout out to y'all.
Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate that. I appreciate it.
All right, and follow me at DynastyBro on Instagram and Twitter, and the main Instagram page, DynastyBrosFF. Avo, tell where they can follow you at.
Avo Love Dynasty Bros on Twitch, Dynasty Bro Avo on Twitch, Avo Love on Instagram. Let's go.
All right, Gabe, you said you got to get out of here.
Oh, I'm chilling. I was just talking about my edgeladas. I didn't have gold teeth, so I can talk about my edgeladas. I'm cool.
Okay, bet. Well, get into this closing. We are winding down. Now I'll explain the closing. So look, the closing is where we come here and we tell the good people something going on in our life personally, or just something good, something bad is going on in the community or in society or on social media, just anything that you want to bring to the light. This is our chance and our opportunity to do it right here. So that's what we're going to do. I don't know who wants to start. Gabe, I'll have one of us start, so then you could kind of catch the feel of the room, and then we can go off of there, and then we can just have volunteers to piggyback. Avo, do you have one ready?
What's good? I always got something ready.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
For the good people this week, I just want to remind you yet again, hug the person you love, call that person you haven't called in a long time. I saw a sad story on Instagram where a comedian I follow, he lost his son, and that shit just made me hug my little girl so strong. And I know that my little girl is real little, and he lost his son is grown, but at the same time, like I feel that pain. So I just encourage everybody, reach out to somebody you haven't spoken to, call somebody you hate, tell them you love them, all that stuff. Just do your best to mend all things that aren't mended at this moment in time. And that's my advice for the people this week.
Hey, mine is take care of your mental and your physical health. Wake up every day and thank God and work on that, man. Like I said, I appreciate the man I am at 32 years of age. I'm still learning more about myself and getting better to this day. So just take the time to big yourself up without being arrogant, without being cocky, man. It's cool to sit back and appreciate growth, self-growth. So that's why I said work on your mental health and your physical health. That shit's important. Speaking of physical health, everybody out there, send me good vibes and pray for me, because as we were setting up, it's a wasp nest right outside my window. Avo seen it, and it's kind of creepy, and I gotta go get rid of it tomorrow, and I'm scared to tell the truth. I'm scared of shit. It's big as hell. So if I'm not here next week,
he didn't make it.
I love y'all, and Vic and Avo gonna hold it down. But nah, mental and physical health is important, man. Make sure you take a step back and take care of yours and appreciate it while you can. All right, man. Vic and Gabe, y'all next. Whoever want to chime in can go.
Go ahead, Gabe.
You got some serious pest control going on over there, bro. The mosquitoes, the wasps.
Oh man, this shit crazy.
This
man.
Fly that won't leave.
And there is a fly in here. Got let in.
The flies,
my homie cut the grass. My homie cut the grass right before we recorded. He knocked on the door and wanted to come in, let this fly in. It's still here. So,
all right.
Gabe, my bad, bro. Yeah.
Hey, no, all good. Since y'all mentioned the expo, I think there's been a lot of speaking to the community. Certainly, a lot of positivity, a lot of negativity. I think a lot of people have been looking forward to this time. To meet people that are close to you, that you've even considered family on the internet. Just remember to keep it that way after the expo, because I think that this is going to be a real good time for a lot of people. Us all four of us going to be here, and we'll be toasting up. And I mean, we ain't never have any negativity anyway, but we're going to live past this and continue to do so throughout the season. So continue to love each other. That's all I got.
I rock with that, Vic. Top that. What you doing, Vic?
I got something good, man. Mine's actually in line with Avo and Dot. So, of course, we always say check on your people. Mine's going to be check on your elderly, but take it a step further, man. Go spend a day or two with your OGs, your grandmas, your grandpas, great aunts, great uncles, great cousins. And I only say that because they may sound great on the phone, but actually go see what their day-to-day is like. Because when you spend time, you might notice they're not all the way there, or some things aren't as smooth as it should be. So I would just say, just take a step further to really know what's going on with the OGs and elderly folks in your family, in case there may be, an opportunity to help improve some things for them. So go ahead and do that homework and spend some time with them in the process.
Yeah, big facts. Sorry, we had the jam-packed, long-winded episode approaching 2 hours. Hey, good content though. Make sure you make it through it. Oh, muscles, turn up on them, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We are the Dynasty Bros, showing you how to dominate your league. Dynasty Bro Style, aka Dynasty Bun Style. Because we got my guy Bro Bun up in the building, and we killed this shit, man. So, all right. So we usually have Avo walk us out. So whatever he's about to spin.
Yeah. Wait. I said, FF Man Bun, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. We're gonna have you back. We're gonna be on the open bar pod. We're gonna be hanging out at the expo. He's gonna throw me a touchdown pass. It's gonna go down.
Cougar special.
Here we go.
Y'all make sure y'all check us out here next week. Next Tuesday, the Tuesday after that, we're gonna probably do the Cooper special. That shit gonna be hard. We're gonna kill all these bugs. They can't see us. They don't want it. Get it, Dot. Get it, Dot. We out here. Wow.
I killed the fly. I killed the fly.